we need to talk about KG of Vcha. Now, we will be discussing sensitive topics, so a couple of things before we get started. Number one, I will have resources in my link tree because, again, we will be touching on difficult subjects. I highly encourage you to check out these resources if you need them. If you feel like this would be too much for you, of course, please feel free to click out. Join me another time. Another thing is that I really do not want any speculation about anyone being discussed here. We're going to be making mentions of other members in Vcha, and I don't want any speculation whatsoever. And then lastly, I just really want us to be sensitive in the comments, nothing to the effect of like, oh, people should just put up with this type of thing, or any implications that people are weak for not being able to put up with, or anything of the sort. I hope we can be respectful in the comments, as again, this is quite a sensitive subject. But with all that said, of course, let's get into what has happened recently. So of course, for a while now, people have been worried for Vcha. It seemed that they had disappeared off the face of the earth. The group hadn't been active in so long. We were getting very few updates. And previous to that, they had been releasing songs. They had been opening for Twice. They had been planned to perform at Lollapalooza before that was canceled due to unforeseen circumstances. We even had a member of Vcha go on hiatus. So all of these factors, paired with the fact that we hadn't heard of Vcha in a really long time, led people to worry what is going on with Vcha. Fast forwarding to now, member KG has taken to her Instagram account to announce that she is filing a lawsuit to terminate her contract. So here's what she had posted, again, filing a lawsuit to exit Vcha, and she cites the reason for her departure being incidents of and mistreatment by certain staff members. And I quote, "I feel it was not a good environment for my mental health, and I apologize if my leave disappoints any of you. I am not in support of the working and living conditions that led a member to attempt, nor do I support an environment that encourages eating and has caused members to self." She goes on to say that she made this decision back in May, but she is still waiting to be released from her contract. Also mentioning that she is worried for the members that are still currently in Vcha, who are of course her friends that she truly loves and cares for. "I also realized if I remain at JYPE Entertainment, I'm not able to become the artist I aspire to be, as I really enjoy songwriting and production. I have accumulated a massive amount of company debt while being paid very little for the intense work and extreme limitations on our personal lives. Although such incidents occurred, there were also beautiful moments." Now she goes on to thank JYPE, company executives and staff for believing in her, and of course the training that she received. But she doesn't blame anyone for the treatment that she endured, but feel this is an issue that lies deep embedded in the K-pop industry. "I'm grateful for the friendships I made and the incredible opportunity to perform for a global audience." She goes on to thank fans for their love and also encouraging fans to continue to support the other Vcha members. "Regardless of my absence, I've grown a love for Korean culture and K-pop music. In the future, I will continue making music in this genre, but not under these circumstances. I hope that my leave can encourage the K-pop system to make changes for the better in hopes of protecting the idols and trainees who remain in these companies' hands." Her legal representation has also shared some more information according to Forbes.com. The heart of this case is a response to JYP USA Inc.'s insistence that they can control KG's career and life and prevent her from working under the threat of liquidated damages if she so much as publishes a personal post on social media. She has been involuntarily silenced for too long. KG's rights as a young artist in the entertainment industry must be upheld. So they go on to mention California's labor laws as well as employment and contract protection for minors, and they allege that JYP USA Inc. has violated this. By seeking both monetary and injunctive relief, KG aims to safeguard her future career, preserve her creative autonomy, and ensure that no other emerging talent suffers under similar conditions. "We trust that the court will uphold the principles of fairness and accountability upon which California's entertainment and labor laws are founded." So they do go on to clarify that the US label, because of course A2K was supposed to be America to Korea, it was supposed to be a collaboration between JYP and Republic Records. I mean, the whole premise of Vcha was that they were formed through a reality TV show between those two companies to create an American girl group, but using the K-pop trainee system. So they're going on to say that Vcha's US label, Republic Records, followed all of California's labor laws. And this was when the label was more heavily involved in the group group during its creation in early stages, but it seems that Republic Records were not as involved later on. Now, we are going to get more into the claims, but this point in particular, the clarification that this did not pertain to Vcha's US label Republic Records is really interesting, especially since JYP not too long ago was actually talking about Vcha, how they're going to do some type of rebrand to be less K-pop. Just to refresh our memories, this is what JYP had to say about Vcha just a couple of weeks ago. We are preparing for full activities next year for Vcha. Our plan is to differentiate this group from our existing K-pop artists with special and unique contents. The prep period is taking longer than usual because the preparation effort is taking longer than expected. And he did actually go on to say that he wanted them to be less K-pop. Even though they're produced by a K-pop company, I don't want them to be K-pop. I want them to be what they are. They're not born and raised in Korea. They're not influenced by Korean culture. They are talented kids who are born and raised here in the United States. We're trying to make sure the next upcoming album is themselves, unlike our K-pop and Korean artists. I think the creative teams will be a combination with American producers, musicians, choreographers, and making sure it's them. It's going to be very different. The new music, the album, the new video will be very different from JYP. So it's really interesting that he mentions that, right? And at the time that that was released, it did seem quite random. It did seem like a very random thing to just say. Like, oh, they were too K-pop before, we're gonna make them less K-pop now, because they're not K-pop, they're American. They're born and raised in America, they weren't raised in Korea. I mean, frankly, at their debut, there was very little that didn't make them K-pop. Of course, they sang in English, they were all American members, but they were performing on music shows. The sound was very K-pop. It was very typically JYP teen crush type concept. So I guess JYP just coming out and announcing that did cause a bit of confusion. Like, what do you mean? What kind of preparation is taking longer than what you thought your preparation would have taken? What does that even mean on its core? Are you going to give them a more mature image? What, despite the fact that they are still young? I mean, it wouldn't be the first time a K-pop company would do that, but you know, there's limits. But in retrospect, it was quite random to point that out. But now with the lawsuit, people have been really discussing the K-pop trainee system, how it wouldn't work in the US, and specifically how California labor laws are specifically being cited in this lawsuit. I mean, there's no doubt that there are things that could work in Korea that would not work in the US, especially to contrast this with what is going on with New Jeans recently. I know some people don't like this comparison. I'm not comparing the lived experiences. I'm just using this example for the sake of understanding labor laws, okay? For New Jeans specifically, Honey, who went to talk at the National Assembly about workplace bullying, but was basically told that she's not considered a worker under Korean labor laws because idols are seen more like freelancers rather than regular employees, right? Now, of course, it's not as simple as that. It doesn't mean you can do anything to an idol and not suffer any consequences, but there is a certain lack of protections in place that people are currently trying to change right now. So, of course, let me know what you think of that. If you think JYP's statement had anything to do with this lawsuit, if you think it's completely unrelated, let me know in the comments, because people for sure have been bringing up the Korean trainee system and the issues that you might face bringing that into the US. And I've seen a lot of differing opinions of either, no, of course, if you brought it to the US, people wouldn't be able to handle it, or people saying that no, companies need to change. Companies don't view you as human, and that's not okay. So definitely let me know where you stand on that. But moving on, let's take a deeper look into some of the claims being made here. So I will link the document that I found. It seems the document was already a summary of what happened, so I summarized the summary. So just for the sake of legality, these claims are alleged. It seems that she was forced by a JYPE dance teacher to repeat a move hundreds of times until she got it right, which caused her a torn shoulder tendon. And then it seems that she was forced to work through injuries. So we do have some text messages here. We of course don't know who she's talking to. I guess they want me to worsen my health, with the other person responding, quoting whoever they're talking about, "We don't want it to get worse. It's getting worse because the doctor said not to do physical activity, and you are. Going to the doctor tomorrow is going to be them telling you the same thing and them not letting you do that." We have some more text messages here. "Since Korea, yeah, Korea was so bad, but this is as bad. Honestly, I feel like I don't even have a personality anymore, or am my own person. They changed me and I lost all my good." The person responding, "They did, all of us. I'm not confident at all. I've lost myself completely." With her saying, "Me too, and my family noticed. Like, I'm actually drained. I have no motivation. I feel the same way. I'm like empty, and I don't know what to do with my life. I'm not happy. I'm not happy either. This is not enjoyable. This is not okay. I haven't felt happy in over years because of this. Same since Korea. Continuing on with the claims, it seems that she was denied water until she mastered that move, and she was also expected to return to training after her hospital treatments. On that note of food, it seems they were highly encouraged to not eat, to not rest, and actually when it came to EDs, they were told that that was really common. It seems that there was hidden cameras in their homes recording their conversations as well as their eating habits, as it seems that they found a camera in the pantry itself. She claims there was very long work hours, sometimes from 7 a.m. past midnight into the early hours of the morning, like 1 to 2 a.m., with them apparently not getting paid past 6:30 p.m. And actually, according to the California labor laws, if they calculated how much they were getting paid per hour, it would be below California's minimum wage. Little to no sleep, not being fairly compensated, especially according to California labor laws. On top of that, it seems that they were heavily in debt as they were in a $2.5 million home, of which it seems KG herself would be responsible of $500,000 of that home. It also seems there was unclear accounting, so it was really difficult for her to calculate exactly how much she was owed. It seems a member had a panic attack and was told that they were being disrespectful by asking to take a break. Other members and an attempted along with verbal and emotional. So these, of course, are the claims being made. Now, JYP Entertainment did end up responding, but they basically said they haven't received anything yet, so they're going to look into it. But they do mention that there have been differences in opinion regarding the situation. So from there, we did see former A2K members showing their support for KG. Love and support you so much, KG. And I stand with you, so proud of you for speaking out. But overall, this has brought forth so much discussion regarding the K-pop trainee system, how difficult it is, how JYP treats their idols, how JYP historically has treated their idols. There's some people pointing out how, JYP seems like such an amazing company, but that they've always been like this, especially in regards to food. There's so many instances that people have brought up. I mean, people bringing up Momo pre-debut, who was told that she had to lose a specific amount of weight or else she just wouldn't be able to debut at all. Until that day, I didn't eat anything and went to the gym all the time. I didn't even swallow my own saliva. I couldn't go to sleep because I didn't know if I would wake up the next day. And she even said how she only ate ice cubes. And JYP as a company, JYP himself, for a long time has pushed this idea that losing weight is not to be pretty. It's not for any other reason than dancing. Dancing just looks better when you're thinner. If you're heavier, you're gonna look sloppy. You can't be as fast. And we've seen proof of this so many times. During 16, he told Jihyo as well, your dance looks slow. If you gain weight, of course you'll look like that. The first thing that I do when I get up in the morning is get on the scale. While the other girls practice their singing, you have to lose weight. Also, during the Nizzy project, he was also criticizing a contestant's self-care. So in this clip, he's basically saying, do you know what's the hardest part of, I've been a singer for 25 years. Do you know what the hardest part is? Weight management. And he goes on to say how body weight has an impact on dancing.
애교 왔다 이렇게 알아댔어. 춤출 때 몸이 너무 느리고 무거워요.
I mean, this is the narrative we've seen a lot with JYP. I mean, I remember a clip where ITZY's Jijin also said, no, it's not about being pretty. We need to be thin, of course, because we're idols, but because of dancing, it looks better when you're dancing. I remember this video from 4 years ago because I remember talking about it then, but
그래서 뭔가 아이돌이 말라야 된다라기보다는 좀 무대를 할 때 좀 더 말라야 춤선도 예쁘고.
So just kind of this talking point that we've seen over and over again. It's not about being thin, but it's about the performance.
그리고 좀 무대 의상도 더 스펙트럼 넓게 입을 수 있고 이런 것 때문에 빼야겠다는 결심을 하는 거지 좀 뭐랄까 난 무조건 말라야 돼 마른 게 예쁘니까라고 생각을 해서 빼는 건 아닌 것 같아요.
Being pretty shouldn't be the reason why. And I mean, in theory, that sounds great, right? Like, oh my God, yeah, like it shouldn't be about being pretty. It should be about health or whatever the case may be. Like that goes against everything we've been taught our whole lives. Like, of course it's about being pretty, but they're saying, no, it's not. But then we have all this other evidence of people literally not being allowed to eat, of people being pressured to be extremely thin, kind of hiding behind this reason that no, it's not about being thin. It's about performance. But then if you're only eating ice cubes, wouldn't that then negatively affect your performance? So in the end, it was always about aesthetics, but we were just giving it another reason. JYP has a long history with idols, starving them, and encouraging their EDs. JYP himself said do not eat and drink water to his idols, but y'all always ignored because you view JYP Entertainment as the good, silly company of the big three. I'm genuinely so worried about Vcha and the other groups. Y'all forget that Vcha had to sneak twice Chinese food and took the fall for it because the girls' food cards had stricter limits to prevent weight gain. JYP has always been this way. So regarding twice being snuck food because they weren't allowed, here it is. Basically, twice wanted to eat pork belly, but they weren't allowed, so he gave them his food coupons. It says, when you got in trouble, you blamed it on twice. Really? Is that not true? Did you take the blame? I said sorry for eating too much, so he did take the blame for it. And this definitely isn't even the first time we've heard of male idols sneaking female idols food because they just weren't allowed to eat. We've seen lawsuits where idols have cited that their control over food was extreme. These are just some examples from JYP, not even taking account of how widespread this is among the majority of K-pop companies. And I mean, it's in our faces. It's not even hidden. Idols will oftentimes tell these stories as, funny little anecdotes of their past and their trainee days. So-and-so's idol's dorm room was infested with bugs. So-and-so idols slept like 20 trainees in one bedroom with bunk beds and some on the floor. I mean, we've been seeing this time and time again. There are idols trying to make a difference. So we're even seeing fans calling for a boycott towards Vcha, who are set to have a comeback in 2025. We just saw JYP talk about that, how they're going to have a rebrand of sorts, separating themselves further from K-pop. JYP Entertainment might release Vcha's comeback on January 2025, and here's why you should boycott. So this tweet will be linked, of course, if you'd like some more details. Now, some people are saying to boycott the company in its entirety. Some people are saying to boycott Division 3, which includes Twice. Others are like, well, Twice, let's not boycott Twice. Let's actually boycott everything. You let me know what you think of a boycott in the comments and what you think the parameters of that boycott should be in this situation. But all that to say, some fans want to boycott Vcha's comeback. In terms of discussions, I've definitely seen, a lot of people say that like, oh, this is why Westerners can't be in K-pop. They need to stop letting Westerners mix with like a K-pop trainee system, and other people saying like, that's like the wrong point of view to have. This is no matter who it's done to, and this is why so many idols now are coming out and trying to change this system. There are people bringing up other idols who have recently come forward and bringing light to their mistreatment. But then of course there are others who are saying that the system works. The system is difficult, it's really hard, but it pays off and it works. But of course that's the story as of now. I will for sure keep you updated if there are any updates, but let me know your thoughts in the comments.